Okay, let's start with a pretty wild idea. What if this life you're living right now is one you have to live all over again? And I don't mean a better version. I mean this exact one, with every single joy and every single pain. This isn't just some random question. It's a philosophical test that might just have the power to change everything.
No, really, just take a second and actually imagine it. Not a different life, not an upgraded one, but this one. Every single success, every embarrassing failure, every boring Tuesday morning, every single heartbreak.
And we're not talking about just one do-over. We're talking an infinite number of times, an eternal loop. No changes, no edits, and absolutely no escape. So, how does that thought feel?
I know, this sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But it's not. This is a really profound challenge from the 19th century thinker Friedrich Nietzsche, and he saw it as the ultimate test for the human spirit.
So let's get into it. Where did such an intense idea even come from? Well, Nietzsche introduced it in his books, The Gay Science and Thus Spoke Zarathustra. And he didn't present it as a fact, but as a question, wrapped up in a really powerful thought experiment.
He asks you to picture this, a demon, creeping into your loneliest moment to whisper this idea in your ear. Every pain and every pleasure, every single thought and sigh, all of it returning to you in the exact same order forever.
And here's the kicker. Your immediate, gut-level reaction is the entire point of the exercise. Would you just throw yourself on the ground, gnashing your teeth and cursing this demon? Or would you look at it like it was a god and tell it you've never heard anything more divine?
Now, it's so important to understand what Nietzsche was doing here. He wasn't seriously arguing that the universe actually repeats. This isn't physics. It's not a theory about time travel or reincarnation. Think of it more like a psychological tool, a mirror held up to your own life, forcing you to ask a really tough question. Am I living a life I would truly want to repeat?
And what's so fascinating is how this idea from the 1800s feels so, unnervingly relevant to our lives today. You could almost say we're already living in our own version of this recurrence right now.
I mean, just think about it. That endless, algorithmic scroll on our phones. It's the same kinds of content, the same outrage, the same trends, just looping day after day after day.
Or even just our own daily routines. How often do we feel like we're just running in circles? The same commute, the same tasks at work, the same patterns we swear we're going to break, but never do. It can feel like Groundhog Day. And it even seeps into our conversations. Think about it. How many of our interactions feel totally scripted? The same small talk, the same complaints, the same discussions that just never seem to go anywhere new. So, we might be living out the negative side of eternal recurrence without even realizing it. A life of repetition without meaning, of cycles without any real joy.
But here's the most important part. Nietzsche didn't introduce this idea just to bring us all down. His goal wasn't to scare you, it was to empower you with an equally powerful solution. A way to not just endure this recurrence, but to actually embrace it.
He called it amor fati, which is Latin for love of one's fate. It's this incredible desire to have nothing be different, not forwards, not backwards, not in all of eternity. To not just bear what's necessary in your life, but to actually love it. So, what does that love of fate actually look like? Well, it means viewing every single moment, even the painful ones, as sacred and essential. Every mistake you've ever made becomes a necessary step, not a failure. And every joy isn't just some fleeting feeling, but a permanent, beautiful part of your eternal story. See, ultimately, the eternal recurrence test shifts our whole focus. We stop worrying so much about linear progress and what's next, and instead we start pouring all our energy into filling each moment with so much meaning that we would gladly experience it again.
And so, all of this brings the entire philosophical weight of this idea right back to you, right here, in this moment. The test isn't some abstract concept for later. No, it's happening right now.
Just think about it. This exact moment, right now, you listening to this, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, if this was one of the moments that would be repeated for all of time, would you be content with that? Would you find it meaningful enough? Would you say yes to its eternal return? That's the question Nietzsche really wants you to live with. And that really brings us to the core takeaway of all of this. It doesn't actually matter if the universe literally repeats itself. That was never really the point. The only thing that matters is your answer.
Could you build a life so full, so authentic, and so deeply embraced that the thought of its eternal repetition would be the ultimate joy, not the ultimate horror?
And that's the challenge, right? It's also the invitation of eternal recurrence, to make each choice and live each moment with the weight of eternity behind it, transforming your one and only life into something you would choose again and again forever.